I don't know what's going on there. Joy. Is that any better? I'm actually not sure why that did that. It was registering as an input and everything, but for some reason it was being clobbered. Let's see, it looks like I need one more USB-C connector. All I was saying essentially is that I've respun the boards. We're only going to be doing one today, and I'm going to be doing manually with the soldering iron, and I'm going to be using SAC305 solder. That's lead-free solder. I just want to see how it goes. I don't have my stock of screens and connectors yet, so there's no point in me doing any more, which means I am going to break open this. Excuse me, I've got to sneeze. That was weird. I didn't make any logical changes to the board. Like the schematic is still the same. It's just I reorientated a few things just to make it a little bit easier in theory to pick and place. And you saw me demonstrating before. I've got these holes here that are there for probe points, so I can just rest my probe in there if I'm doing voltage measurements on the board. And so it's a easy to access ground point, which means I only have to use one probe to do what I've got to do. Alrighty. Hey, Nuts and Proud, Antonia. Hey, James. Anyway, so now I've got to break open this board. So I guess we'll take it that way. Oh, no. Oh, thank God. Sometimes, because it is such a short rail, sometimes their V-cuts are not deep enough and you can't get enough leverage to break them, but thankfully that time the one side is not cut deep enough, but the other was, so at least I was able to break on that. I've had some boards where, particularly when you get down to, sub 1 inch square boards, and they didn't do the V-cut deep enough, and that was a nightmare. I had to go around and actually recut them myself, which is not good. Hey, MC Rams. Okay, alright, let's get to this. Like I said, we're going to be doing manual soldering. Should be fun. Extractor on. And Mr. Paul Howe, I see you've paid for your ticket for today's show. Thank you, Mr. Paul Howe, for the $100. As always, I see you're still struggling to find another person for your generosity. Thank you very much. Alright, let's wind this back a bit. You'll notice all these parts, they're all running horizontally now. I don't have any vertical orientated 2-pin parts. So it's not a big change, but sometimes it just helps with the placement with the pick and place. bit of stuttering going on there. Well, thank you again, Paul. Really do appreciate that. Alright, we're going to see how this SAC305 goes. Just spool off a little bit. The one upside of using SAC305 manually like this is that the this particular solder that I bought is extremely fine. It's I think it's about 12 thou. I think 0.4 of a mil. So that doesn't look fine there, but that is finer than the lead solder that I normally use, the Kester. So I guess what we're going to do is we're just going to work left to right, top to bottom sort of thing, and pad up the first side. Paul, if you want it to be yours. Now I'm going to be curious to see how this flux copes with the SAC. Who am I kidding? I'm not going to be able to do this clean. I'm going to have to get all fluxy. It's just the way it's got to go. Okay, now to start picking them out. This is so much slower than doing pick and place. Because we don't even know if this is going to work yet. That's the hilarious thing. It's like, will this even work? Did I make a terrible mistake for the board somewhere? You have no use for it. I guess I'll auction it then. Although usually I keep these myself. Yeah, I tend to keep all my first gen builds. We'll see. We'll have a think about it. Oh, look, two different variations of the same thing. This is the old batch of 4.7s, and this is the new batch. So we've got a 3-digit code and we've got a 4-digit code, but they both mean the same thing. Did I fill the 5.2? I did not. Hey, old mate. I see you sent off those connectors. There we go. Certainly excessive solder down on those pads, but yeah, not much I can do. The lead-free doesn't gloss up quite like leaded, of course, but this is actually pretty good. Hey, Jim Allen, you're stuck in customs. They're probably playing with it, you know. How long has it been stuck in customs? These two up here are 1 microfarads. Yeah, the orientation, particularly funnily enough for hand work like this, is now better. But I do wonder whether it's actually going to be more difficult with pick and place. But then at least, if I do prefer the other orientation, when it comes to pick and place, I can just rotate the board. And so then all of them will be the same. Damn it. Something's got into my nose today. I've just got to blow my nose. I'm sorry. Please stand by. I'll just turn off the audio. So where was the quake? And let's see, what do I need? Resistor and LED. Try and orientate the numbering of the parts so that the electrons flow properly. Hey Rilla, I'm kind of surprised you're late, but I guess you had other things in life to do. So I really don't know if this flux actually suits lead-free, but we'll find. It doesn't seem too bad. Yeah, I'm going to leave that one there. Didn't quite position it where I wanted, but they'll have to do. Hey Craig Jenner, oh, customer gave you the loogie. That's no good. I've been doing my very best to avoid that around here. The plastic flashing on these, well, it's not plastic, it's epoxy, make it a little bit tricky to hold them. Okay, turn it around. Running out 212. Oh, shite. Haven't got any 212s in there. Where's my tiny 212s? It's okay, we'll switch over to the CH then. Hey, 8-bit, how's it going? Hey, what? You got yourself a crown. Oh no, not the crowns. Okay, I need to find myself some 212s. I'm actually surprised I ran out there. Well, fortunately I got another bag of 50 here, so it should cover us. Down near Kickavan, 10 kilometer 5.2. Oh, yeah, we're a bit north for that. Now the trick is not to shock the tube as you pull that plug out. All too easy to shock the tube, and then all of your parts come flying out. It's very annoying. Hey Zoltan, welcome. Okay, let's get our orientation right. You'll notice I've actually improved the pin 1 position markers now. So, not saying I won't put one upside down, but at least quite a bit less likely. I got the shakes. Wrong kind of shakes to have. I'm surprised you did this meter totally with sorrow. What? Did you not read the intro? I guess not, you weren't here. I'm only doing it just for this one. I'm going to go around and tack off all the other pins before I do anything more now. Now, I should be able to do this without flux because the solder, this is a multi-core solder, so it has its own flux. Yeah, it's doing really good with that flux. I'd say that the flux I'm using out of the tube is not a match for lead-free, so I might have to look into getting myself some proper lead-free flux, or stuff that agrees with it. Because I gotta say, this is, so long as I don't botch it up, it's flowing pretty good. It looks like a dry joint many a time, but that's just unfortunately the nature of lead-free soldering, is it tends to have this dry joint appearance, even though it's not. But SAC305 is actually usually pretty good for this sort of thing. It's kind of like the most tolerant lead-free. Yeah, that's going in nicely when I heat up the pad and then put the solder in between the gap, like that. So the solder doesn't actually really touch the tip. Well, I guess it does, but you know what I mean. It's I forgot my regulator there. But yeah, that wicks up nicely onto the parts. I really like that. That's good. Would this be my new benchtop meter? I'm not sure. Okay, I didn't wait for that to heat up enough. That's my fault. My bad. These pins are going to be tricky. I'm not sure. This is definitely where using paste is nicer, because I don't have enough extension on those pads for the sensor to really make it work. So I'm probably going to end up botching this, but we'll see. Yep. So I'll just do the blob method and then extract off. I'm not pulling out the stencil today because I don't want to. It's inconvenient to do a stencil with 4 on them just for the one. And like I said, this gives me a nice chance to experiment on seeing how the SAC goes. Anyway, if you want to do it a different way, then that's absolutely, yeah, everybody has their preferences. I prefer to hand build my first models usually, particularly when there's simple circuits like this. If it was a more complicated item with a lot of BGAs or anything like that, then yeah, I'd probably go for a stencil. But in that particular case, I probably would only have a single. If it's a complex board, I'll probably only be stenciling one at a time. Yeah, this is a 2x2 stencil, so yeah. And I don't have any SAC305 paste. No, not ovening these ones here, just like I said. It's a simple circuit, mechanically simple. Besides, it gives me more time to talk to you guys. And then yell at you. Come on. Don't make me pull the wick out. Wow, how much did I goober up in there? Let's try the other side for a bit. Almost there. I'm not going to wick it. Instead, I can be defined. It's just kind of weird that it's almost there. It's like 2 or 3 more applications, and there we go, 1. So, perfect. Now the connectors are going to be fun. The USB mini not so much, but the USB-C ones are going to be quite an entertaining job. Yep, I need some more flux and I need more heat. Okay, this must be a very old connector. Let's just throw more solder at it. It moved. Okay, tacked in. Hey Robin, Bosch. Hey Q's. Yeah, if you get the heat applied to the pad properly and then apply the solder, which is the correct way to solder, it works pretty good. Technically, you're not supposed to actually put the solder onto the iron tip. You're supposed to put it onto the pad, but realistically, a lot of the time you've got to induce it to reflow by first touching it to the iron tip, and then that way the iron tip gets enough heat. So then that way it can transfer it to the rest of the board. Wow, much sucketh. I might have to... Okay, this is really bad. That's okay. Blob and flow again. They're not even remotely close to being... Yeah, to clean that up. People are going to be like, see, you should have done it using the reflow. And it's like, no. This is just a small inconvenience. I definitely feel like I do need a different kind of flux for this work. Thank you, Antonio. Alright. We're going to need all the help we can get for this one. So I'll go and look and see if I can find online a good flux for SAC305 for manual rework. I might actually tack this one in. I don't know how that... Did that come through? Yeah, that did actually that's a very nice footing there. That is actually a really nice footing. It did a good job. So certainly whatever the flux is that they've got embedded into this works very well, which makes sense. Yeah, I quite like that. This is flux from Tim Herman. Works perfectly good for leaded work, but I don't know if he's made it for lead-free. He did say it was compatible with lead-free. I don't know if he's making it anymore either. I think he's pretty much stepped completely out of the game, I'm not sure. I did message him a little while ago, and normally he responds really quickly, but I got radio silence this time. So I guess he's focusing on his medical research. Yeah, really, that's what I just said before. Of course, it also depends on what you're doing, because the flux they use for the first application can be different to the flux that you want to use for a rework application. Typically with a rework you might be after something with a little more activity so that you can first bite through any sort of muck and corrosion that's on the joint, which is not something that you normally would encounter with the first application. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. But now the fun part's going to be, I wonder if I can try my Pico micro pencil. The hard part here is getting the angle to touch, to warm up the pad and the pin. Oops. Yeah. It's going to be hard going to get those pads. Obviously we're not going to leave it like that. That definitely needs to be made a lot prettier. Yeah, I could have extended the pads, but like I said, but it's sort of not really required in the sense that when it becomes a normal oven reflow, with paste, then none of that is a problem. And if anything, extending them at that point is actually more of a problem because you end up with too much paste around the leg and you get balling. And so yeah, it's kind of funny depending on your intended build style, the way you do the pads will change. Yeah, Robin, I've still got them. They're in the shed at the moment. I just have not had time to look at any of them. Let's see if we can do it this way. But yeah, I still have them all. No, doesn't want to play ball there. But yeah, so if you were designing this board for the purpose of being hand built, then yeah, you would definitely, extend those pads out to give you a starting heat point. Doesn't want to bite. Come on. There we go. That didn't go too bad, that one. Come on. I'm hitting them with the bigger soldering iron here to try and make sure that that solder does actually wick in underneath. That's good, that's good. A little bit of tackiness here and there. Okay, what am I missing at this point? I don't think anything, other than just prettiness. Got to wash it now. Hey, Christian. Wash time. Give it another bit of alcohol and we'll Joey rub it down. It's pretty tolerable. By the way, I'm buying another softbox so that this spot that you can see here should dim out nicely. This over here is the other spotlight that has the softbox on it. This one does not have the softbox. This has the fish scale, and the fish scale is pretty good, but it's the softbox is definitely much nicer. So I'll get another one of those. All right, let's see if we can program this thing. Well, at least the green LED comes on, so that's a good start. And that flashed, so that's a good start. Okay, clip off these legs. Alright, now for the testing time. Yeah, let's hope it's not magic smoke time. At least it did program, so that's a good sort of... That's a good starting indicator. Let's see, plug this one in first. Okay, at least that came up, so that's good. Let's get charge cable. And my phone. Okay, looks like that's working, and we have communications on screen. So this here. Let's see, switch into 8 volts, or is it no? It's going to stay there. Oh yeah, the test point, right? Well, let's see. We will disconnect that. I'll just put the adhesive on this. The only thing is, there's no allowance for the test point hole in the case that I have been getting printed, but I'm sure someone can just drill a hole through the case if they want to. I mean, you are technicians after all, right? Let's see, we need a board. Reference board. It's a little hard because I haven't got it set up for... Anyway, let's see what we can do. So in voltage mode. So the theory is, and look, yeah, this may not even work for anybody, but what I was trying to do is you stick your probe in there, and then you can just jump around. I got no voltage on there because there's no backlight. Yeah, and it just allows you to get away with only using one hand on the board. You could do the same with diode mode measurements as well. Like if you swap, put the positive in there, and that can just be on a completely unpowered board if you wanted. You can pull the power out, and you just want to do diode mode. You can just use that as a convenient hold point. But yeah, there may be other ways. Maybe just stick it into the board, whatever. Anyway, it's just sometimes you stick these little things on boards to try and help you, and sometimes they don't work out. Sometimes they do. You won't find out until you experiment. Alright, we'll disconnect that. That's all good. Okay. Alright then, well listen, that's everything for today. I've got to get out there and do other things in life. But glad to see at least the boards do work, because there's 200 of them. I don't think I will get the new displays until probably end of next week, and then from there I guess I'll spend the weekend making a bunch of them, and I will have more cases by then too, so I will be able to sell just the standard unit as we have been, and then there will be a case available if you want to buy one of those as well on top. So the question is, what do I do with this one? Keep it for myself, auction it, do nothing with it, put it in a box and let it rot? I don't know. I mean, I should show you where's my original ones gone? Just looking for one of my originals. I'm not even sure where I've got them at the moment. Hiding much. So we've got one person saying sell the board. Paul Howe did, and he says he doesn't want it. Alright, so this here was the original USB-C meter that I made. Now obviously this was never going to be an actual sold model like this, but it was a case of me bodging together everything I needed in order to be able to test the theory. So, I've got my serial interface here. I've got the two USB-C ports. I've got the sensor and the shunt. This is a 5-pad USB-C port rather than the 12-pad ones that I've got at the moment. And this board here, this yellow board, was used because it had a tiny AVR on it. So yeah, and of course the display. So there was a whole bunch of different things put together in order to be able to test the concept. These were just various things. And there's various models, different chips on them. Like this is using the 14-pin CH chip, and I ended up not going for that. It's also using the older current sensor. I think it was the INA 22, so it was an earlier model. And then I went up and tried a larger style meter, but that did not pan out. Like this here, you know, I was going to have a lot of information put on the display, maybe even go for a graphic display, but it just didn't work out. There are issues like trying to deal with the standoffs, and overall it was a bit big and cumbersome. It just, things didn't feel right with it. So in the end, we ended up with what we have now, which is a single model that has the display, everything integrated, and then we do everything else on the software side of things. But there were a lot of models in between this, and I got to admit I have kind of stripped them down because I needed parts off them recently, and I was getting a bit desperate. I'm trying to think where they all went. Oh, here they are. So these are all like variants of like, oh, let's try this. Like that one there has the TQFP AVR. I have no idea what happened to that one there. And here I'm trying to work out, you know, what profile work, you know, physical form factor works best. And yeah, you're lucky if you get a working solution that you like within 3 revisions. A miracle if you get it within 2. And I would consider it a real miracle if you get it in 1. They can all go back in there. So yeah, so I mean, we've had 6 major revisions, and this is the 6th minor revision to get to this design. I'm happy with that. That really actually came out quite nicely. Prototype should be mounted in a shadow box. Certainly that first one, I agree. It's kind of got that look for, this is a genuine prototype. All the transitional ones I wouldn't bother with. But yeah, that first one is certainly, it really looks the prototype style. Okay, I'm out of here. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you on the next one. It might not be until the end of next week when I've actually got all the parts and we can start doing, you know, stenciling and baking. I need to work out something about the oven though. I can't keep baking those boards inside here. I really got to take them out because it's just, it leaves too much gnarly residue in the atmosphere and I don't like it. So thank you all. I'll see you on the next one. Till then, you all take care. I'll catch you later.